Friday, September 10th, and this is a video like takes 30,000 to a million. After I take you through the account, I want to talk about briefly on individual investment styles and why I think that's important. I just recently watched or listened to an interview, and it just really reminded me of how important it is to tailor your own personality to the market and try to see if you can get an edge that way. So I'll talk briefly about that. But first, as always, let's go into the account. That's a sound effect. So 194,400 and almost $50, including the after hours movement gain on the account. The culprits, I think the overall market was just actually up. The Smith & Wesson earnings report came out and it was very negative. The company went down like a full dollar, so 6.32%. It was as far down as 11.55, I think, or on Thursday after hours, but it climbed back a dollar, so now it's sitting just above 12.50. It's at 12.60. Now, because of the volatility collapse due to the event being over with, the options side of things actually, where is it? The option side of things actually went positive. So you see today's return on the options is $1,400, even though I dropped $3,600 in the equity and I sold puts, which means that, the direction of the options is not necessarily always for a period of time correlated with the returns of the actual underlying equity. Not always, for a time. So actually 40% gain on the options, even though they're puts. So they should actually be increasing in value as something goes down 6%, right? All right, so that's about the options. Let's go back to the account, and I'm going to quickly scroll through all the positions. You can see the values of them over here. All the information you might need is contained within this little box. I hope this credit spread doesn't get blown out. So we'll see what happens with that. And I want to try to get rid of this 185 call on Apple, because if there is a little bit of if there is kind of a monstrous move to the upside late into the year, I don't want to be selling these shares. So we'll see if I can exit at that position effectively. Everything else here, the Asian, the Chinese ADRs, they're doing okay, I guess. I think they've been consolidating for some time. I don't know where the next move will be, down or up. We'll see. Probably up, but maybe not for a while. And these are the actual equity positions. We got Apple here up 2%, Routine come up almost 0.8%. Main Street Capital 1.16. Paramount was up 4%, which is great. And Smith & Wesson. 4% is pretty good, but it doesn't really get me closer to that $29-30 level, which is where I would want to exit this. I think that this is the year chart. I was hoping that it would bounce up right to around here to 30.7. Somewhere around the $30 level. The highest it's gotten so far is 27.2. We'll see. I'll just hold the stock until either I gain enough in premium to exit at a lower point, or the stock actually goes up to like 30 by whenever it's supposed to be, whenever I'm selling call options. In the meantime, I'll just try to get as much premium as I can. The $29 call options expired today, and I did not roll them into future dates because I'm hoping that Paramount is going to have a little bit more of a gain. It had some gain today, but I'm hoping for more before I can sell calls again, because otherwise I'd just be collecting a few dollars here and there. Not enough to be worth the opportunity cost, if you know what I mean. If I wait a little bit, I could sell calls at a higher price. So, investment tab. Next is next. We got $217,000 in the management. 10.76% margin used. Double that to see how levered I am. So all the positions based on total return, you can see here clearly that Apple is like now over 50% of the account. Mainstream, not for long though. If I end up buying Smith and Wesson is going to be the other 50 pretty soon. So Main Street Capital, Realty Income, this is by total return. By equity, we got Apple, Main Street, Paramount, Realty Income, Smith and Wesson down at the bottom. Like I said, not for long. Relative performance, just going to look at today, up 2.23%. I think the market was up like maybe 1.7 or something like that. Let's see here. I think the Nasdaq was up maybe 2.2 something ish. Yeah, it's S&P up 1.5. Let's take a look at the year, 9.94. I'm not doing too well in the week and month, but I'm still beating on the year. All right, so that's the account, and now I am briefly going to talk about, the personality match, which I think is pretty important in investing in the markets if you're going to make any money in the markets. So I was listening to this interview, and the guy, it doesn't matter what his name is, he was really good at math, and he was kind of like a quant and was growing up before things were, before there were quants. So if you listen to these podcasts, you probably pick up on which interview I'm referencing. And he was describing a scenario where math really lent itself to him. And he was really interested in modeling, and he was also interested in, physics, things like that. So he wanted to bring that skill set and that kind of view, that kind of perspective on the market into the markets. And he experienced quite a bit of success because he viewed the market through a lens that he could understand, right? And so the moves he did were matched not just based on his skill set, but also his understanding and perhaps even personality. So it just really reaffirmed that you got to do, what your personality allows for. You have to try to express yourself onto the markets by the way you treat them. For example, I say this all the time, but like, you can be a long-term investor, just buy and hold and never sell, right? You got the never sellers. So many people have done quite well with that. They pick some winners, some good stocks, and they write them up thousands and thousands of percent over the course of their life, and 30 years later they retire millionaires and billionaires. So it does happen, and if that's your personality and you just want to go about doing your daily life and just keep stashing away a few dollars every once in a while, or automatic deduction from your paycheck or from your accounts on a set time interval, and just have the willpower to never touch it, or lack of interest to never touch it, then you're going to do just fine if you pick, if you place your bets on the right horses from the beginning. But there are others, right? There's the tasty trade guy who just likes to, enter or exit positions really quickly. His story was, when he decided that the long-term game is not for him. He wants the excitement from doing. I'm not saying that he's the greatest trader ever or whatnot, but I'm just outlining that there's different personalities, right? Like, I figured out that I'm not actually like a market person type of guy, where there was a video of two people selling cantaloupes on the street, right? And one person here was selling for $50, let's say, or 50 units, I don't know, whatever currency, and the other guy, we'll call him dollars for now, and the other guy was selling for 40, trying to undercut him. And so this guy brought his price back down to 40, and then this guy brought his price down to 30, and instead of this guy bringing his price down to 30, he bought out all his cantaloupes and raised the price back up to 60, right? So that's a market kind of guy. So that's what I mean by, if you have that personality and if you're willing to buy that risk, you have the conviction that you're going to sell. Like, that's not me. I just figured out, I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I am not. Like, I'm not that guy who wants to buy out, this guy's person. So now I have even more cantaloupes that I can sell at a higher price, like, I want to be the other guy. I want to be the guy that gets his cantaloupe sold out like right away. I want to get rid of it. So it's important to know yourself. Like, I think that investing is more of a personal discovery journey than, and learning more about yourself than actually making the money. I guess that sounds kind of cliche, huh? But I think it really is true. So I think the people who experience the most success, and I'm still in the process of discovering what works for me, I think the people that experience the most success know themselves the best. So know thyself. Sorry for the shake. That's, I guess, my thought of the day. All right, I'm going to end it here. I'm probably going to make some videos of companies. I have a backlog of company reviews to do, so I'm going to try to knock some of these out here on a Saturday and see what happens. So look for those later today. All right, with that said, peace out.